Hello everyone. The topic of my presentation today is semantics of basketball. Semantics of workflow. My name is Gaurav Chavda and I'm from the Department of Management Sciences. So for our introduction about this topic, there are various complex processes and procedures which are followed in the healthcare industry. And if they are not followed correctly, then it could lead to significant morbidity and even mortality. There are various governing parameters such as the preconditions, the test sequencing, and the constraints, whether as an example, how much exposure to the X-ray should be there. And based upon these parameters, varying outcomes could be there. The outcomes could be that we could have to terminate a procedure, we could have to delay a diagnosis, or even we can place a patient's life at a risk. So the question that needs to be asked is how to use the information systems to represent, measure, manage, analyze, and evaluate complex healthcare processes in order to achieve appropriate levels of patient safety, cost, outcome, quality, and regulatory compliance. So as an example, this is a diagnostic imaging example. In a diagnostic imaging department, they have to obtain the images, articulate the findings and diagnosis, suggest for further investigation based upon the diagnosis, institute the treatment. Then there are various intrinsic patient factors, including the presumptive diagnosis, the patient's clinical state, the potential for beneficial intervention, the previous history, example allergies, including previous untoward events, the real-time choices and the consent, the current medications the patient is on, the facility availability and the status, clinical guidelines, examination protocol, diagnostician preferences and choices, staff availability, which comes under resource usage, and the economic, quality and regulatory constraints. So why do we need workflow? There are various real-time selections that need to be done, and any standardized protocol that we try and achieve for this would fail because there is such an unmanageable variance of the system that could arise, and there is so much of information and the flow that would hinder in a standardizing protocol. Then the processes are composed of services chosen in real time with the choices informed by the variables. Actions are executed depending upon the dynamic considerations. So we need a workflow. And analysis, this is just another beneficial part of having a workflow, is to have an analysis of historic repository of workflows that could predict the likely courses of care, as Bill had mentioned in his data mining of workflow concepts. So the objectives that we set are process evaluation to understand and define the semantic information associated with the healthcare business process. And we also need to incorporate the semantic information into a comprehensive and dynamic model for business process execution, supporting constrained operations and real-time decision responsiveness. And finally, the execution and analysis of business processes for appropriateness, efficiency, and quality also needs to be considered. So I'll just begin with giving you a syntax of activity diagrams in UML. UML is Unified Modeling Language. Activity diagrams can be modeled in UML as well as Petri nets. So these are the two things that I have observed in which they are being modeled. So I'll begin with UML. I'll also present you a small example on Petri net in the further at a further stage. So these are the basic syntax of a UML activity diagram. It represents an initial state, a final state. Then we have an activity state which is non-interruptible, and it finishes with the termination of an event. Then we have a wait state. The wait state is interruptible. It finishes with an event. An event could be triggered from outside the system, and it could be an external condition change or a temporal variable. And also wait state is used for synchronization of parallel threads. Then you have OR and AND splits and joins. So I'll show you a workflow for a production company, and later I'll show you a workflow for healthcare industry as well. So as you can observe, the production company receives an order, and based upon the order, the finance and the production department make the choices. The finance checks on the customer, and it checks on the customer whether the customer has any balance credit or not, and whether the payment has been made or not. And similarly, the production checks on the stock and makes a production plan if the inventory is not there. As you can see, these waits are the synchronization events for the parallel threads to execute to finish at the same stage. So this is just a brief explanation. So the issues that we face with workflows are capturing of the functional requirements. In a big organization, the functional requirements could be really huge, and it's quite difficult to gather those requirements and represent them graphically in the form of a workflow. Then there are issues of deadlocking. There could be two threads that are waiting for the resources from each other to be released. Then error detection is a major issue in workflow. You could design a workflow, develop the whole system on top of it, and then at the runtime you detect the errors. So it's always better to detect the errors at the design time. And for detection of the errors at the design time, you need a model checker to check the workflow that you have created. Then you map the workflow specifications to the input language of the workflow system. The model representation, as Bill had also mentioned in this presentation, there are quite a lot of languages in which workflows can be represented. There are quite a lot of models that support it. So Petri-nets is one of the most famous ones, and the recent research has been done into the UML representation of the workflows. Then formal semantics need to be defined for any workflow specification, because it has to be proven mathematically that this workflow is correct. And as an example, if a behavior model fails to satisfy the functional requirement that it does not contain a deadlock, then a model checker returns a sequence of states that lead to the deadlock state. So this is the environment of a workflow system. The workflow management system sits on top of a workflow system. Any workflow system is instantiated with the workflow specification going into the system, and it interacts with the database system and assigns activities to the user. The user can use an application software which could further interact with the database system and return the parameters to the workflow. So the workflow basically governs the sequence of the activities, and it manages the work to be assigned across the whole organization. So this is a Petri-net approach for handling a medical complaint. So if you could see, when a patient comes into the hospital, he's identified with his medical card, and he goes to the radiologist and as well as to the cardiologist. Any order is fine. So a cardiologist performs an ECG and a blood test, and based upon the ECG and the blood test, he finds out whether the diagnosis is okay or not okay. And the radiologist performs a thorax and the echo, and based on it, he again reports it. So an analyst over here at this position, he evaluates whether a surgery needs to be done. If a surgery needs to be done, then it is performed. If not, then the results are archived for the further usage. So this is a Petri-net approach for the workflows. So as you could see, the workflow system sits inside and it interacts with the environment outside. In our case, the environment could be the customer, the patients, the doctors, and the nurses and other resources at the hospital. And the workflow system enables an activity by assigning it to an actor, and the actor, when it finishes the activity, it lets the workflow system know that the activity has been finished. The actor can interact with the database system to update any variables, update or query any variables. So the database transaction that needs to be there between the actor or between the environment and the data should have the properties of atomicity and isolation. Atomicity is a property that any activity is either complete or it is kept undone. Isolation is a property that any two transactions do not share the data with each other. They run in isolation to each other. And then workflow system has a queue and a router. So the queue is for queuing all the activities that need to be assigned, and the router is for assigning those activities. Then it supports an ECL rule, which is the event, condition, and the action rules. And this is a patient workflow management system. So this whole procedure is based upon the guidelines, and it's easy to create a workflow based upon the guidelines, but this is the difficult part of a workflow system, to assign the resources. And based upon the guidelines, appropriate resources are assigned. Like for blood drawing, a nurse has to be assigned, and the assigned resource. So it assigns a resource and releases, finally, when the activity is performed, it releases a resource. And there can be different roles and responsibilities in an organization. Like in a hospital, there could be a nurse, an analyst, and a chief technical analyst to see these activities. So this is another representation which is quite famous as well, the hypergraph representation. This is easier because it also supports formal mathematical semantics. So this is just one of the semantics as a representation that for every hyper edge in the set of hyper edges, there's an activity A which belongs to the activity node, and it just says that the source of a hyper edge should be the activity. So the future work that I'm looking for in this is to define the semantics for workflow based on the UML or and the Petri net approach in the literature. The second is the process is to look into the process dimension and the resource dimension. I have the literature that I have seen so far is that either they cover a process dimension into the workflow modeling, or they cover the resource dimension. Only in one of the papers that I came across, the patient workflow system, they had considered both of them, but it's in the early stages. Then I would also be looking at the guidelines for appropriate healthcare. So there are formal set of guidelines which have been defined so that there are no malpractices that could happen and the resource usage is proper. So based upon those guidelines, I would be structuring the workflow at the later stage. And finally, I'm also looking at developing a model checking capability and the prototype development of the workflow system. So these are my references, and I would welcome any questions. Thanks.
manually done, or is there a mechanized method?
As I explained, workflow has a mathematical semantics to it. So we can easily write a model checker which executes on the basis of those mathematical semantics that we have defined. So it would be able to find a deadlock if there is any. Yeah.
What model checker are you intending to use or thinking of using?
It's just in an idea stage right now. As I have mentioned, it's there in the future work stage. But definitely it should implement the semantics of the workflow. So it should understand the mathematical definition of a workflow, and based upon those mathematical definitions, it should be able to read the workflows and able to access the information in the workflow.
Okay, but what kind of model checkers are you familiar with any model
No, I'm not.
big SMB or
I'm sorry, Anam.
What do you mean by semantics of a workflow?
Semantics is the formal representation of the workflow model. It's a mathematical language in which you can represent it.
No, semantics is not a formal representation of a workflow model. That's not true.
Mhm.
That's a false statement. A workflow model, in fact, generally speaking, is a syntactic model.
Yeah.
Okay. What I didn't see in here was anything to do with semantics of workflow, so which was your title. So, with regard to that, we have to look at it. That'll probably do. Okay. Thank you very much.
okay.
All right. She's got a question.
No, but-
No, this is
sorry.
not a question, this is the thing. There's, I don't know if you heard of it, but there's also a Metro toolkit here. And what they do is they use template-based semantics, and then they map template-based semantics from different software specifications, architecture specifications, and then they have this Metro toolkit that you just push your semantics in, and it plugs a model for you. So you might want to look into that, because
Okay.
it seems like it would be an interesting thing to try to map the template semantics of the workflow into the tool, because it automatically makes a model for you.
Okay.
So it's interesting is what people are talking about in semantics of workflow is the representation of aspects of the workflow, such as its purpose, its value, in other words, the things that the workflow delivers or affects, or the reasons there, those kinds of things, which are not incorporated into the typical representation of a workflow. So that's what you have to look at. You have to look at the issue of not just the workflow representation, but the concepts that impact the workflow, or the reasons the workflow exists, or are effects of the workflow, any of those kinds of things that are not, if you show a workflow diagram, they're not present in it. Now, arguably, the time relationships or delays or whatever are part of the semantics of workflow. Some people call those semantics, but that at the very minimum is a very primitive level of semantics. All right, thank you very much.